Hey guys, it's Gerard here. Quick tangent before we get started. So we've been doing this channel without really a name or a brand. Today that's going to change. I've been going back and forth on what to call this channel. It was iDesign or Design Direction. This really is an MTG focused channel. And so I wanted to lean into that and the rich history that MTG has to offer. So I'm happy to present to you the Locus of creation. Hope you guys enjoy. What's good, Internet? I'm Gerard, a game designer, and for those of you joining us for the first time, we're taking video game characters and anime characters and turning them into magic cards. Now, for this character, I have to put up some spoiler warnings, so if you haven't finished Act 1 of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, go ahead and do that and then come back. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Gustave.
Get out of my way!
The usual caveats apply, and let's get right into it. In the world of Expedition 33, citizens of Lumiere suffer from an annual culling known as the Gamage. The Paintress, who is this giant woman on the other side of the ocean, paints a number on the monolith, and then everyone of that number's age or higher disappears into flower petals. In order to stop this, the people of Lumiere send out expeditions to the mainland, and they try to bring down the Paintress. Each expedition is named after the number shown on the monolith, which brings us to number 33. We start in control of Gustave, who's an expeditioner and engineer joining the titular Expedition 33. Gustave is the creator of an invention known as the Lumina Converter. It's a device that allows the expeditioners to convert their pictos, which are their equipment, into lumina, which is a sort of energy, internalize, and it amplifies their ability. In combat, Gustave's main mechanic revolves around his overcharge ability. So every time Gustave acts, like attacking, parrying, etc., he gains an overcharge point. He can spend those points to use his overcharge ability to deal extra damage. And at 10 points, he does the strongest version of this attack and breaks the opponent's stun gauge, causing them to be stunned. This is the ability we're going to focus on for Gustave's design. So again, for this week, we're going to start off with the colors, which is normally where I end. But Gustave here is an engineer, and those colors are usually in blue and red. The Izzet League in Magic the Gathering is known for engineers, scientists, and tinkerers, and that's what's represented by blue and red. And since Gustave is an engineer, he'll fit right in. This also kind of limits what we can do with our abilities. As I said on this channel before, constraints are the best thing you can ask for as a designer. It helps you kind of focus your vision. So let's dive into finishing Gustave. I know I want him to be Izzet, and I want him to be no more than 3 mana, so we'll limit his power to 1 and his toughness to 3. For now, I want to focus on his overcharge ability. For this ability, we'll try to stick to what the game is doing, so we'll say something like when Gustave attacks or blocks, he'll gain an overcharge counter. Now, if our goal is to get to 10, this could be a long task, so we'll also say something like at the beginning of combat on your turn, he'll gain an overcharge counter. And we call these overcharge counters, we could simply call them charge counters, but those already exist and we don't want to add too many new synergies because that could make this card even more busted. So what do the overcharge counters do? Well, they deal more damage in the game, so we'll say something like he gets +1 +0 for each overcharge counter on him, and this is our means of representing that increased power. We also need to finish our keywords. Since he's gonna have a lot of power but low toughness, we'll give him something like first strike and also haste, so he can act right away. And we still need to do something at 10 power. What do we need to do? Well, this is a lot of investment, so that power needs to be equally payoffed. And we've got something pretty powerful here. We'll say when he gets to 10 or more counters, remove all his counters, and he'll deal that much damage to each creature. Now this part is unnecessary, but I want to add it for flavor. We're going to tap down each of those creatures and put a stun counter on them. Usually 10 damage is more than enough to kill the creatures, but if they survive, they'll be stunned. Again, largely flavorful, but it could be relevant in certain scenarios. There is one more ability, again, mostly for flavor that I want to add, and this is where the spoiler warnings go up. So if you're here, I'm assuming you finished Act 1, you have 3 seconds to get out of here. If you don't, 3, 2, 1. All right. So at the end of Act 1, Gustave dies. And I want to capture that on this card. We'll say something like when Gustave dies, he deals damage equal to his power to any target. We could have maybe said he puts a stun counter or a shield counter on something because he does die protecting my L. But again, we want to stay consistent and limited here. For our creature type, he's a human, but also an engineer. So we'll go with something like Artificer, which is Magic's equivalent to an engineer. And while this creature is complex, it's a bit self-contained in terms of its power and abilities. And other cards, such as Runaway Steamkilling, are rare. So Gustave here will be rare as well. Obviously, testing and iteration will help us fine-tune this, maybe even bump that up to a Mythic. But I'm pretty satisfied with where there's at. And there you have it. That's Gustave, our Lumina engineer. What do you folks think? Did I nail it with this one or miss the mark? Actually, come to think of it, Mark is probably another mechanic we could have done something with, but Overcharge felt right here. If I did do another version of this card, it would involve Mark. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more content, and check the description for the link to the card. Also, shout out to our fantastic video editor, Joey, without whom none of this is possible. See you next time.